and I told him I agree with that.
Can they get Phil Ford to do that though? I mean,
I think so.
and, what's that other guy's name, is president?
Busby.
Yeah, and then.
He's
Real
the
nice.
executive director.
Yeah,
Busby.
Busby is. The other guys are real nice stuff.
Yeah. And see, that's the fall that he's wanting Dale to stay on that board, simply because Dale has a couple of the subcommittees. Well, anyhow, I ran into him down at Abilene, and we had a long conversation there.
Is it?
I can tell different
And Dale has that much stroke in the deal, he recommended, you got a chance to get done.
Good deal.
And I told him, I said, well, we really wanted this to happen, and talked to him about the lake.
Yeah.
Of course, he explained some of the problems.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long, it's
gonna-
not gonna just.
No, it's not something gonna happen overnight. And we definitely have some.
Get them there without the term limits.
Huh?
Get them there without the term limits, and they might be spending on that.
To get it done. Keep hammering. But it's it's got some issues that's gonna have to be overcome, more than just what I was aware of.
Yeah.
You got the bills done? Okay, let's call this session Commissioners Court to order. Conduct the business. Stonewall County, the first item on the agenda is pay the bills.
I'm ready to pay the bills.
Got a motion to pay the bills. Any discussion, questions, comments? Do we have a second? Got a second? All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? You opposing or you?
I oppose that person that bill.
Okay. So that leaves us with one bill unpaid.
Bunch of scam orders.
No, they're all paid, he just voted.
I voted against it. That'll work. I should have made the motion.
That's the reason I made the motion.
You wanna make a separate motion?
It's fine.
Okay. Carried 4-1 to pay the bill.
That's where that away.
Please. What bunch of scam orders.
Moving on to number 2. The only thing on it this time is, as is usual for the second meeting of the month, is minutes. You all had an opportunity. I have an extra set of minutes here. Somebody needs them. Should have a chance to read over them. I've got a couple of deals. I hope everybody caught that on item number 9. Did you catch it, David?
I wasn't gonna get into it like this.
I don't think we can afford that.
I don't think we can afford that at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They did all.
We need to replace that dollar sign with a cent sign after it. After those two.
Yeah, she told me, put a dollar sign. What? Cause I said, Ronnie said 54.8, and she said
Yeah,
it's
54.8 cents per 100 value, and then 48.15 cents.
Is it .548?
If you want to put the dollar sign, it's 0.5480 and 0.4815. If you want the dollar sign.
Okay, 0.5480.
Yeah, with the dollar sign in front of it.
We had that
first.
Yeah, we had that right at first, but
you said
you're under the gun.
$500 of value, so
Yeah.
you've got to add the 100 to it, you've got to make it 54.8.
Yeah, 54.8 cents, but the way it reads in here is $54.80 per $100.
Okay.
You just need to put the dollar sign in.
Okay, so just put .4815.
Yeah.
Okay.
0.4815.
Same thing.
0.4815.
Same thing over in that 4815.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
0.4815. Okay. And 0.548.
Down there at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only other thing down is down there, in the middle there about, where it talks about light hooks. Replace that first I with a Y in the name.
Oh, it's L-Y?
L-Y-D, I see.
Okay.
And that was all I saw, just a little, couple of typos.
Okay, so is this, right, okay. She told me to put $1 there.
I have a feeling our taxpayers will be down here with a bunch of nooses this week.
Sorry. Okay. Is that all?
That's all I saw. Any other questions, comments, or discussion about the consent list? Do we have a motion?
Motion approved, consent list.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? Guess y'all have noticed that this is the shortest agenda since I've been in here. So we should
Getting better on it.
But it's the last agenda of this fiscal year, so we've got everything taken care of.
Start back over next week.
Yes, we'll start back over the item number 3, consider the treasurer's line item transfer. Y'all wanna look at it, do they have the?
They have a copy, but they need to sign it. Your copy.
I gotta know, why do we have to move $24 from the spray account?
Because we only budgeted 1,000 and we picked up another spray here the other day. And we bought feed for it. You know, we had to move money earlier this year because we sold that, we had that one and we sold it, and you have it on the revenue side and the expense side both, so.
You know, that ain't right. I mean, I understand they won't let you make a profit off of it, but you still shouldn't.
This is on this to
That's right.
But, yeah, they bought feed for some animal, you know.
And it's like we decided that the attorney ad litem had plenty of funds to make it through the rest of the year, so all the transfers came out of that line.
That dude got struck down.
Yeah, well, actually, he's still got a considerable amount left in, but it's something we have to have in there every year, because you never know what's gonna come up.
Yep.
If y'all will remember, last October, we had scheduled a family reunion over here at the community center on homecoming weekend. We went and paid for them to go to the senior citizens. Well, we liked $5 paying the total, so that's where that $5 came from. But that was because of a conflict over there at the community center.
Any other questions, comments, line item transfer? Have a motion?
I move we accept the transfer.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Got a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Here's one.
Yep. Start sending.
My turn?
It'd be your turn. Next item on the agenda is consider bids for county agent pickup.
Forgot what I came for a minute. Yes, sir.
It's good to see you, we'll see you see you in 2 weeks.
I've got to pencil in on that, on that
Okay.
tape sheet there, what Lawrence Hall.
Been doing a little pickup shopping here, and a couple of different bids, which went to Robert Hall first. He offered, where was it at? Let's say he offered one. He offered one.
Yeah, it's right at 1,900.
Right, yeah, there you go. Robert offered us $9,200 for the blue pickup, and offered to sell another one. I priced a 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive, with a gas motor, just like the blue one, but like I said, 3/4 ton. Offered us $9,200 for the blue pickup, and offered to sell the other one for $27,825, which makes the difference to be $19,725. So a few days later, I went to Lawrence Hall, and I'm not sure what they were thinking, but they offered $7,000 for the blue pickup, and price on the new one was $38,410. So a difference of $31,400. So Robert beat him by nearly $12,000 on trade.
Robert offered a fleet discount, which they didn't offer over that. Amounted to what? $7,000.
$8,500 fleet rebate. So that's not like I said, exact same pickups, and I went ahead and told each of them to put a back bumper and a grill guard on it, because there's just not much to the bumpers on those rigs anymore.
That 19,000, that's the total, that's with the guards and bumpers, everything, total price.
Yes, sir.
Total trade-in difference.
Yeah, total trade.
Yes, sir. What were you gonna say?
So why you went that 3/4 tons to the half ton? Back to one bed.
Right, the half tons they only put that like 5.5 foot bed, and I wanted to get the 3/4 tons so I could get the full 6.5 foot bed. That way the pig box will go in the back. I think that 3/4 ton will last a little bit better than a half ton will. They ought to get about the same kind of mileage.
What size motor is it?
It's got a 6 liter. Yes, sir.
It's basically just like a pickup you're driving, right?
Yes, sir. It's the difference is I think that pickup I've got has a 4-speed with an overdrive, and this new one will have a 6-speed automatic. So I'm hoping that makes a difference in maybe longevity.
I think that's boosted the mileage up by about 4 or 5 miles.
Yes, sir. I went ahead and told them to price the good seats, not leather, but just good cloth seats and power doors and windows.
Well, that sort of thing will pay for itself when it comes to trade time.
Oh, and Robert, I told Robert I wanted a 2012, so it might be a little bit cheaper, and he got to doing the figuring. He went ahead and priced it 2013 because he said the difference was going to be maybe $500, and when it comes time to trade, he said it'll make up for that and more.
You don't have one in stock yet.
No, sir.
How long it take to get one now?
How long?
I don't know. I can't remember what he said. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. Just depends, because he'll have to get on that system, and he'll go wherever he's got to go to get it. He acted like finding one like that is no big deal. So.
Pretty generic pickup.
Yes, sir.
What model was that blue?
2006. It'll have. I told him we wouldn't be able to do anything until after the 1st of October, and when it's gonna have 110,000 or better on it by then. That's what I found. I just went to those two places.
You could hold light for Lawrence Hall down, couldn't you?
No, sir. I called that guy at Lawrence Hall a couple of times, and he just never did seem to act like he cared to do much business.
That's all we'd like to see that do.
He'll probably be pestering me in a couple of weeks, so. Anyway, that's what I've got.
Okay. What's y'all's pleasure on the pickup?
Get the thing.
Since it's under $50,000, we don't have to bid, do we?
But we've got two prices on it.
Yeah.
No, if it's under 50, we're not required to take a competitive bid, but we actually do. It seems to me Robert is eminently fair on that price. I mean, he didn't have to give us offer us the fleet discount, and then I feel like for a 2006 model with 110,000 miles, that $9,000 trade-in value on that thing, especially after the fleet discount.
Well, it's costing us, what, about $3,000 a year to trade? That's what it's gonna cost us.
Yeah.
That's
About as good as you can get on
about
that.
as good as you can get.
We want to give Cody's approval.
I do. I don't know whether you wanted it in motion or not.
Well, yeah, I think we probably need to just make a motion that we approve these bids and allow Cody to negotiate a final contract on this pickup within those parameters.
I make this, accept Robert Hall's bid on pickup, give Cody permission to go ahead and order.
I'll second that.
Okay, you have a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, go buy your pickup.
I'll go tell him to get it ordered then. Thank y'all.
All right.
And one more thing, I'm having 4-H meeting tomorrow night, so if anybody wants to be an adult leader, y'all come on up. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, that'll be a long line, won't it?
I think so. Probably need to get here early.
You guys can hear? Adult league?
I'm sure I'll have volunteers back pulling out the
Go
door.
have a hall somewhere.
We're gonna have to get a new tablet to get all the signatures.
I know it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Cody.
I didn't realize somebody would put that big bed on them half-ton pickups.
I know it, I didn't either.
Do what?
I didn't realize somebody would put that full.
I thought they
Short
put
box
you
on
get
a
a 6-foot box
I
on
thought
anything.
you could, I thought that. Anyway.
I didn't know it. Saving money, I suppose. But, you
Did
know.
they move that room into the cab?
I don't know.
That's what Ford did in 04, when Lisa bought that first pickup. They shortened that bed, moved that room into the cab.
But most half-ton pickups are not sold for out here in the country. It's in town.
Yeah, driving.
Right, yeah.
But that makes, we bought that. We bought that camper top way back there for a long bed, then we got the short bed, so. We bought a pig crate, didn't we? A long box pig crate, too.
Yeah. The school wound up with it, didn't
And
they?
then we bought a short one.
Who ended up with?
We sold it to the school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I guess if we still have half-ton pickups, we gotta buy another pig top.
We'll have to buy it. Yeah, either or jump up to the 3-quarter thing.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's always been my opinion that a 3/4 ton, it's heavier duty stuff, it's gonna give you better service than a half. I've always felt like that's what I've always bought, is a 3/4 ton. I guess we can just make that. Okay, item number 5. Got a deal from this Alliance for Women and requesting, and we do this every year, ask that we make a proclamation declaring the month of October, it's already a national deal. The month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and for us to designate one day then, preferably sometime toward the first part of the month is Breast Cancer Awareness Day. If you want to, I'll just read this proclamation out for it, and it says, State of Texas County Stonewall Proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Day a month. An estimated 15,050 Texas women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012, and about 2,650 women will die of the disease. Nationally, the American Cancer Society estimates that 226,870 new cases of invasive breast cancer will occur among women in the U.S. during 2012. About 2,190 new cases of breast cancer are expected in men.
How many?
2,190 cases in men. And that's something most of us never even considered, but it happens. Research shows that breast cancer mortality could be reduced by at least 30% if women follow the recommended breast cancer screening guidelines. All women have a chance of developing breast cancer. Women aged 50 and older are most likely to develop breast cancer, and African American women are more likely to die of breast cancer than any other group of women. Getting a mammogram and breast exam only once is not enough. The American Cancer Society recommends that women get a mammogram and clinical breast examination every year beginning at age 40. The woman has the greatest chance of successful treatment if breast cancer is found at an early stage. Early detection practices are part of a good breast health routine. A good breast health routine includes a yearly mammogram, clinical breast examination, and monthly breast self-examination. Further, Medicare pays for an annual mammogram for women ages 65 and older who have Medicare Part B. In recognition of the important life-saving early detection practices available for breast cancer, we, the County Commissioners of Stonewall County, do hereby proclaim October 2012 is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and October the 8th as Stonewall County Breast Cancer Awareness Day. We urge all Stonewall County women to become aware that they are at risk and to discuss a screening program with their health care providers. And I urge all Stonewall County citizens to encourage a woman that they love to do so. Signed, Judge and Commissioner. And that's the proclamation. I picked October the 8th. We've got it on here. That is the date of our next Commissioners Court meeting. And if you're in agreement with that, I'd like to schedule just a little ceremony. We'll recess in here on the front steps. Our volleyball team has October the 23rd designated as their teen breast cancer awareness. They've already got the pink shirts. I'd like to invite them to come up here on the 8th. I've already talked to Mark Jones over to EDC and Stephanie at Chamber. What we'd like to do, if it's agreeable, is contact all the women that we can identify in the county that's breast cancer survivors. I'd like to have them here. I'd like to put an exclamation point in this. This is a serious illness, as you all are aware of. I would really like to have a pretty nice little program out here on the 14th if we could, in the middle of our Commissioner's Court on the 8th.
Don't they bring that bus around every once in a while? They don't ever do this. Did you used to?
There's been one here before.
That was that comes as for blood
Well, I
donation.
know that.
Jay used to.
Well, maybe once when Dr. Holiday was still here, they may have had one come, but I don't think they came on a regular basis.
Well, I'd like to, contact the hospital staff to see if they want to participate.
We have our own T-shirts
Do you?
that we ordered for
Okay.
breast cancer.
Yeah. Well, see, the volleyball team, I don't know how long, I know they did this last year, but they have their game that they dedicate to breast cancer awareness. And like I say, this year they've got that game scheduled for October the 23rd. And they sell cakes and I think maybe concession stand proceeds go to, but anyhow, they raise money for this and they select one woman in the county that's undergoing, breast cancer treatment. And they make that donation to them to help offset expenses. I know last year, they selected Martha Jones, she was undergoing that, and I think they raised about $2,000 to help offset the cost of going through those treatments. Expenses, back and forth travel expenses. It's a good thing, and I'd like to get them up here then to help us. We'll hang a little wreath, or it's actually ribbon, out here on the front door. Just have a little ceremony, just to kind of.
Wonder how many women in the county is survivors?
Well, I talked to Martha about that the other day, and we identified about a half a dozen, and I'm sure there are quite a few more. We'll do a little more research in the next few days, and we can get them all together. But I'd like to. So anyhow, that's the proclamation, if y'all think, but it's declaring October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and October the 8th as Breast Cancer Awareness Day for Stonewall County. So, what's your pleasure?
Much was it?
Have a motion?
That's what it's stated. I'll make a motion.
We make this
Declare,
proclamation?
yeah,
Okay.
make this proclamation. Breast cancer awareness.
We have a second?
I'll say.
You got a second? All in favor? Item number 6, you all are aware that Dr. Miller has left. We have a new position here at the hospital, Dr. Passman, and because of that change, we have to designate a new local health authority, which is always that's in position.
Is that requires a doctor here on his part? They require to be active.
Could he actually turn us down?
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
Do what now?
Is that a requirement of a doctor that's in the county to be the health
Yeah,
authority?
he's the medical director of the county.
That's what I'm saying. Like Gary said, could he turn it down?
Could he turn it down?
You know, I suppose he probably could, but that's kind of it's not likely going to happen. I mean, that's just part of their duties, but we're required as Commissioner's Court to appoint someone as the county health authority, and it's always our position.
Well, we got James here.
Yeah, she's a county commissioner turned general.
After her stint as the temporary director of the board, I doubt that you could talk her into the bowl.
We had a big ceremony.
Listen, David.
I told y'all the
Hey,
bus
how's
was on
that?
its way.
Hey, how's that? Maybe come a squall in the little path.
You know, Billy Carter used to be my friend, and you might used to be my friend too.
Billy Carter.
Not the drinking.
Was that the president?
I knew that was going.
I thought about him.
Drink a lot of his own beer?
Yeah.
He was the founder of Billy
Brother
Beer, right?
Billy.
That is. Billy beer.
Billy Beer. But anyway, I'm assuming he could turn it down if he wanted to, David. Thanks a lot, by the way.
Anything I can do, John.
But
Thinking
that's,
outside the box, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that,
and I called, I called down to the hospital to talk to him about this. He was out of the office all day Thursday and Friday. But anyway,
Yeah.
I talked to Jean, and she said, that, you know, she said, well, this is just the standard way. The doctor's always the health authority, and she didn't think that he'd have a problem with this. So I said, well,
Yeah.
he was going to be on the agenda for this morning to appoint him and such.
Like Jerry said, you know, I came from school last week, and I just got so much of this in me, it's gonna take me a while.
Yeah, I understand. But his name is Frederick, and it's spelled F-R-E-D-I-C. Frederick Passman with 2 N's.
Spell it again.
F-R-E-D-I-C. Frederick
Just call him Fred.
Passman. P-A-S-S-M-A-N-N.
Fred Sanford.
But according to his staff, they didn't hesitate to throw him under the bus. Said that would be fine. So, anyway, do we have a motion to appoint Dr. Frederick Passman as the Stonewall County Local Health Authority?
I'll make that motion.
David made that motion. Do we have a second?
I wouldn't leave a man out, I'm too.
And I'll say.
We have a second. Dan, second.
It don't matter.
All in favor? All right. Any opposed? So I'll get the
I'm not gonna call him Fred.
necessary paperwork done and get him signed up.
I'll see him next time I see him, call Dave.
And that is all of the normal agenda items. We're down to number 7, open forum.
Open forum.
Gary?
Had absolutely 0 today.
Well, it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
Have a green sucker. Put that in the minutes, Kevin. I like that sound in the minutes. Thank you, sir.
Is that what color you're buying, green?
Yeah.
Green.
Let me go get one more, Dan.
I don't need
I'll give Dan mine.
Deal sucker?
What we all need to know is what Patty feels so guilty about.
Yeah.
Well, I had David stashed way down at the hospital this week.
Yeah.
I just bought 1,000 of them. Everybody gets 2.
Thank
There's
you.
a box of green suckers in there that's that big a square and that deep, and it's plumb full of green suckers.
Got one in order morning, he said, lady, he said,
Next
oh, that
time,
morning,
morning.
I think there'll be a diabetic coma.
She said the minimum we could order was 1,000. I said, just send me 1,000.
Well, next time, Warren.
David, you have anything?
All right, I talked to J.C. Pictures. He has finished the spraying out there. Leslie Hardy went over his estimate about $300 or $400, but that's the way it goes, you know, he realized that. And he said he'd come back a few weeks and inspect it, anything that he's missed, he'll, you know, go back and touch them up. There is a lot of them, that grass is that high, and we all know you can't see them all. So probably, I'd say maybe next year we might need to hit it light, you know, it wouldn't take near as much.
Just a little spot spray
Keep
in
it
there.
doing it there. But what I've seen out there, of course, he just got through the last time I was out there Friday. I couldn't tell, you know, kill him now, but man, the rest of it looks good, looks real good. I think he's done a good job. Hopefully, anything that he inspected, it's not dead or skipped, something he will come back. Okay.
There ain't no way to miss them. I
No,
mean, it wouldn't matter what. Oh, wait, I mean.
he done good on as far as range, you know, if there's anything in the forecast, something they'd hold off, and the reason it took him so long to do it. He wanted to be sure to do a good job.
You know, I'm wondering about, like, next year if we jump in there, let's say we get back into the normal weather pattern, we get that spring rain, we get it shredded and then get back in there and let it, you know, maybe we'll have to mow it and let them mesquite trees get put back out again then, and let them hit it again, like I say. Wouldn't cost near as much.
Well,
We might get them turned.
we don't want it to get back like it was. My God, funny, terrible.
Oh, it's just like they're on the dog back.
Yeah.
And that's the case all over the country, everywhere.
Well, yeah.
I mean, just like we talk about, there's some of these wheat fields, they went in there to plow and get ready to sow wheat this year and had mosquitoes that tall all over the field that just appeared this summer. Amazing.
You've never heard anything back from Tom Freeman?
Yeah. Sent him an email and, what's it, I was wondering if this is Mr. Wyszynski. He's the one that is in the engineering department of TxDOT Aviation that this has been assigned to. And he's the one that, sent this Tom Freeman up here. And I sent him an email, last week. Says I was wondering if Tom Freeman's assessment of the Stonewall County Airport runway has been completed, and if so, how should I proceed in getting the needed repairs done? Any guidance in this endeavor would be greatly appreciated. He sent me an email back on, this was the week before, got the email back Tuesday of last week from him. Mr. Freeman is preparing the reports for his field trips. As soon as I receive the data, I will forward it to you. We can discuss the best way to proceed at that time. I will contact you soon. That's where we stand.
It's in the works.
In the works. Still wait. I don't know why it's taking so long for this Tom Freeman to get his notes typed up and sent in, you know, but that's just bureaucracy at its best, I suppose.
Y'all wanna, give me that, y'all wanna, going back to mowing, y'all wanna mow it after frost?
I think so.
Yeah, I think after frost get it mowed down. Had a guy that run into this last week. They had a business associate that was up here. I think he said he was in a Cessna citation, small business. Said he didn't have any trouble getting on and off. It sure was rough. So I told him, I said, yeah, we're aware of that and we're working on it. So.
Even if we get the cracks patched, it's still gonna be rough, isn't it?
Well, if we get that blown out, I don't think so, Kirk. I think it's
Is it the grass?
what it is the grass. You know, those just big ridges of grass. You know, for light aircraft, right in the, down, it seems like in the center, from about 150 yards from each end, and right in the center of the runway, it's good. But if you have to use the full length, that booger is pretty rough down those ends, especially this south of it. It's just a lot of grass. Maybe it runs down more, maybe a couple hundred yards.
Judge, is that a TxDOT engineer, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, TxDOT Aviation, yeah. Yes, Tom Freeman, he's an engineer they sent up here that David and I and Chris met with out there. Did the evaluation, and he still has not turned his report in to this Mr. Wyszynski. I guess that's how you pronounce it name. But he said as soon as he gets it, he'll get with me and he'll send that report on to me, and then we'll discuss on how to proceed.
Ain't a bad sucker, is it?
That's pretty good for green.
Green not my favorite color, maybe.
That's all I have, right?
Oh, okay. Kirk?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Any?
Anything?
I just got a couple of deals. The first item I had was the runway. We talked about that. And that's pretty well been discussed already. That's where we're at. You did get the lights up and going. That's it. What did you find?
Two transformers burned up. The way that thing works is the transformer can burn up, and it'll only knock out that one light. But this one had shorted the cable out. The main cable connects the
that does the loop.
And that's what caused the problem.
How'd you figure out which one it was?
Dumb luck, I guess.
Really?
Well, I dug up four holes, four transformers.
And before the two of them were bad?
I knew one was bad.
Oh.
I've been on this for a long time. But, actually, the third one we dug up was the bad one. Then we just had to dig up that other because I knew it was bad. But
As soon as you got those two replaced, they come on.
Where do you get the transformers at, Keith?
I had bought nearly everything from, what's called Canal Bank in Rhode Island.
But you can still get the parts for it.
Quite expensive, they're $86 a piece.
How big are those transformers?
They're about that big around.
Just a little canister type thing, or?
It's all rubber. It's got, 3 leads coming out of it, big cable. And the transformer itself is about that big around, about that tall.
And all that's underground?
All it's underground.
That just makes no sense to me at all. Put something up like that.
If you'd ever flown with me, it wouldn't make sense.
Huh?
If you'd ever flown with me and you would, when I'm flying,
Yeah.
it makes
It
sense.
makes
You
sense.
want everything underground.
Everything but the power.
Well, that's a good deal. Got that moved there. Hey?
No.
I'll take a word,
Yeah.
All right. The indigent defense, we've talked about this before, but Annie brought me a letter that she got from the Texas Indigent Defense Commission. So the Texas Indigent Defense Commission set aside a portion of funds, the direct distribution program, for those counties that did not apply for the fiscal year 2012 formula grants, and we didn't apply for the grants. Stonewall County submitted expenses, and that's the way we've been doing it, over the fiscal year '01 baseline, and it was, I don't know what for, it's $10,000 a little better than we spent on indigent.
$185.
But anyway, because of the formula, they sent us a check for $5,565.34, so we got
Good.
half of our cost in defense back. So, that's a good thing.
Don't they usually, with, in their bill, that pay up 30,000, when they do bill? When there's something on there.
Yeah, David, I don't remember now exactly, but I think there's a cap on that.
27,000.
Something, I don't remember now offhand what it is. But anyhow, because of the way that formula's set up, they actually paid us about 55% of what we were out for indigent defense. So, that's, every little bit helps. I finally got around to getting those white fiberglass top tables, you know, we talked about. Y'all gave me permission to do that, so I picked those up at Sam's this week. I bought 6 of them. We're keeping them here in the courthouse. We're primarily, the only thing we'll use those for is during elections. It's been being, we've got two of the tables in our break room, those old big ones like you drag those out, and Ricky'd have to haul 3 more over here from the community center. And it's all one man can do to manhandle those things. So these are light and handle them, but we're storing them down there in what used to be the driver's license office. The only one that uses that anymore is the veteran service officer, and he's here once a month, once every 2 months. We're storing them down there. Gave Ricky strict instructions, they don't leave the courthouse. Got that. On our request on the grant program to have all these radios reprogrammed, finally got the final approval from the state this last week. Talked with Texas Com this morning. I told him I'd call him back this afternoon. They're going to arrange a time to come up here. They're going to reprogram all those here. We're not going to take them down because they're going to have to come up anyway and reprogram radios in the sheriff's vehicle, the ambulance, and some others around. So they're going to do it all here. I'll be talking to him later on this afternoon. But we did finally get the final approval from the state. The central supply room that we've talked about before, it's going, it is stocked. So if y'all get an opportunity to buy, look at the closet on this side of the courtroom door, central supply room is stocked. We've got a few more things we'll probably add to it. I think that's gonna work out pretty well. Everybody in the courthouse seems to be on board with doing it that way. I think it's gonna look pretty good. The strange thing about it is most of the stuff in there came from the old Mountain Coast builder, or at least a big lot of it, from what you see when you step in there. I think it's 70 reams, wasn't it, of copy paper, the legal size copy paper that they left over, and we bought the EDC, gave us that building, and they moved out everything they wanted. They didn't have room for all that stuff, and told us do what you want to, and so EDC didn't have any use for it, so I thought, well, we take it. So, especially with the landing and stuff, Patty and them use a tremendous amount of that legal paper. It was 70 reams, it filled up one entire cabinet. But anyhow, it's up and going.
And Lacey was the one that went in there and organized it and made it look all nice and neat. You can find what you're looking for in there. That won't happen, but.
Well, why not?
You remember that earlier comment you made?
I've got only one other item, and I won't, and you all may already, and probably are aware of it, I just want to make sure we're all aware of it. There is a petition that has been passed around town. I'm not real sure what the wording is, about something about has to do with the cemetery mowing contract. Someone is unhappy that we had extended contract with our present contractor for another 12-month period, and apparently passed some type of petition. I'm not sure how it's worded or what it said about maybe some type of a recall on that contract. Anya has dug out all of the figures on the mowing over the last 4 years. Actually, going back to 08, 09. I think she's made all of you. She just go it so for everybody is aware where we're at on this thing. As you all know, that we just negotiated a contract with the present contractor to extend, which we stated in when we submitted this thing or put it out for open bid. We stated in there that the successful contractor on completion could come back and negotiate, and with the agreement of both parties, this contract could be extended. And that's exactly what we've done. The present contractor has had the contract for 18 months now. It's been 4 meetings ago. We renegotiated, allowed a little increase to offset some unexpected increases and some increases in material and supplies. The ghost contract came to an agreement. The contract was drawn up and signed by us. Y'all gave me the authority to sign it. I've signed it. The contractor signed it for the next fiscal year, beginning October the 1st of this year, running through September 30th next year. It's a signed and sealed contract, which we do have the authority to do. That contract is for $35,500. That is mowing every cemetery in the county. Apparently there was some questions about our last contractor. I don't know how many years that they had the contract without bid. I know that they held it for 3.5 years. That I do know. And how many more years than that I don't know. But the last year that the mowing, that we were under before we put it out for bids, our last year, and that was the fiscal year of 09 and 10. The mowing of the cemeteries in Stonewall County cost the county $47,381.90. That was a wet year, and it was to be expected it to be a little bit higher. And that doesn't really account for all of it, because we spent another, at the end of that year, we spent another $4,700 $4,700 that fall of that same year to complete that growing season. So when you get right down to it, if you're going by the calendar year, we spent over $50,000 to keep the cemetery mowed in Stonewall County. That's all. That year, we had one principal contractor that mowed the 4 big cemeteries, but we ended up having to hire 3 other people to help keep those mowed. So we were out until the previous contractor for that last year, we paid them $34,335.40 for mowing of 4 cemeteries. Our contract coming up that we just extended this coming year will cost the county $35,500, but that's for mowing every cemetery in the county. So by that, we're saving, the first year under this contract, we saved the county $14,481 over the previous year. This coming year, with the increase that we allowed in that contract, we're still gonna save over what was done previously. With this contract, we're still gonna save over $12,000. To me, that's our job, is to look after the finances of the taxpayers of Stonewall County. So over the period, by the time this contractor finishes, this new contract we just allowed, over the period of that 2.5 years, over the previous year, we're gonna have saved the county somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000. That's our job, is to look after the finances of the county. Like I said, I don't know what the petition says. I dare say that the folks who signed that petition, had we negotiated a contract with any one of them individuals, for whatever purpose, in good faith, come to an agreement, agreed on a price and what we were required for that price, signed a contract, put it in force, I don't think any one of those people would feel good about us reneging on that contract. That's where we stand right now. We have a contract we negotiated in good faith. We've signed it, both parties. If we reneged on that contract right now, the faith and word of this Commissioner's Court right now would be at 0. As far as I'm concerned, that contract is a done deal until September the 30th of next year. Probably toward the end of August of next year, because we made that decision at the same time we signed this contract. At the end of that 12-month period, we would reopen this thing to a competitive bid process. So as far as I'm concerned, until about the end of August of next year, this issue is done. It's a signed and sealed contract, and I feel like that this Commissioner's Court is obliged to abide by our word, and that's the word that we've signed. And that's
That contractor's out there mowing them down. And it's really not even needed that much yet, but he's staying on the clock on it.
exactly.
So he don't get behind.
And like I said, I understand that the year before last, it was an extremely wet year, it was an unusual year, more than that. But we could very well have another wet year this coming year at the same time. But at the same time, instead of over $50,000, that contract's gonna cost us $35,500. That's it.
There we go.
And that's what we're supposed to do here, is to look after that. So I feel like we've done a good job of it. So just so you'd be aware that that's circulating, and it may come up. So those are the figures. Y'all all have a sheet on it. And I'd be happy for anyone to come up and talk to me
Still
about it.
ain't something that, I think bids coming to that 50,000 also, don't it?
Yeah, we're not required to open up for competitive bid for any contract less than $50,000. And there's another thing to that. We're not required to go with the low dollar bid. We have to, and required, not just can, but we're required to look at all aspects of the bid. The person is submitting the bid and their past history, their equipment, their capability of doing the job. And it's a whole range of things that's considered when we're, accepting a bidder to do work for the county. And so that's another thing to consider. But it just so happened on this one, it was the low dollar figure. The contract that we have now, I think they were low by $800, $1,200, something like that. I don't recall now exactly what it was, but they were low by a considerable amount. So that's where we stand on that. I just wanted to make everybody aware of what what's going on. Is there anything else?
You heard from the wind tower people, I noticed they've got about 11 standing
Yeah,
up.
they're supposed to have 11 up. I think 13 was all they were gonna put up, I believe. So they're just nearly got a completion. Now, when they'll have them tied into a grid, I don't know. I know that power line that they're putting down just south of the county line down here, that thing is moving along pretty good. So I'm assuming by the end of the year, they should have everything ready to go online.
Bill Mike told me they was working around the clock on that. Said they brought that one crane out there. They was running them lights. They was working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on that deal.
Well,
So I assume that they've got to get that completed by.
it has to be completed by the end of this calendar year.
So they're up against it.
Yeah. But
They'll need to go out there and inspect when they get that complete. They'll set us on top.
you want to see it?
Train man running up the line, doesn't he?
I'm sure they'll have a basket. They probably hoist you up there at the top of that thing. I don't know though. You might have to climb the ladder up inside.
That'd be another helicopter ride. It'd be easier for us to just get the helicopter over and pick you up and sit down.
Yeah, put you down before we haul you down. But they're coming along, and I'm looking, and I'm a little disappointed. I don't feel like our local contractors were quite given the opportunity that we were led to believe they would be. But I'm thinking moving forward, if we need to go into expansion on those things, if the tax credits and stuff are available from the federal government, we can probably address some of those issues again. Because I know they have the contact information on my local contractor, because I emailed it to them. I've got to go out there and look at them. I haven't been out there to see them.
You can go to Eagle Hill and see.
You can see them from there?
Yeah.
Well, see, coming back from Jake the other night, in the football game, I could see a couple of red lights that I had not noticed out there on that ridge before.
Well, there's a red light from my house. There's a light on the tower over the west end of the mountain. There's one over there, actually north of Gary's house, and there's one between the two. From my house, you can only see 2 windmills.
You can't see from your
I
house.
can see two of the towers.
2 lights.
No, they don't have lights on them yet. You can see the actual
You see
the tower and the turbine itself. But you can go to Eagle Hill, and you're further enough that you can see. I think you can see 8 of them from over there.
Well, anyhow, we're just about to have our first completed wind farm in the county, and I really honestly believe we're going to see several more.
That 13, is that Stonewall Kent boat?
Yeah, no, that's Stonewall Kent boat. The way that thing broke down out there, dollar-wise, I don't remember the exact figures, but in Kent County, they were going to get a little more dollar figure than we were. Their dollar figure was going to amount to a little over $24 million. Stonewall County was going to be a little over 17 million, if I remember correctly. Dollar amounts going in.
Wonder if this outfit from H.R.E. is still trying to find a financier or something.
David, I have not heard one word out of those folks now in quite a while. I need to talk with Greg Worthing at Sweetwater, see if he's hearing anything from him, but I just haven't got around to talking to him. I can't hardly help but believe that if these tax credits are extended after the first year, and I expect they will be. Could be totally wrong, but I expect that they will be. If that's the case, that bunch has got too much money already invested out there. If they can't move forward that project, I can hardly help but believe that they wouldn't find someone to buy that off of them and move forward.
No leases, they're done deals.
Yeah. I mean, the lease is a done deal. If I understood it correctly, they spent upwards of $60,000 just getting this thing through the school in attorney's fees. So they got some money invested in this. And I think that they'd.
Speaking of school, they got an election going on right now, does everybody know that? A recapture
It's on the
deal.
ballots.
On what?
Some sort of recapture deal, basically. I can't tell you how it works.
Instead of sending the money to the state, they can purchase average daily attendance from other schools.
That's right. And he told me that if we don't vote on this, he said there was a school down around, Waco, like somewhere off down. They just said, we're not gonna do this. The state come in, dissolved their school board and broke the school district up. I mean, we wouldn't do that because we all broke the school district up, and they fixed them right up, so.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway.
Oh, I guess I could point out, I don't know if y'all knew it or not, but I was on this, or still am, on the facilities committee about studying, the feasibility of upgrading or modernizing our school campus. I met with the school board last week and presented the recommendation from our facilities committee, and what we recommended to the school board is they proceed with the idea of building a new elementary school. We're in bad need of new facilities down there. The high school and junior high, I think they'll remain serviceable for the near term. But that elementary.
They said that wall back, that west wall back to that.
In the cafeteria, that west wall, up about 8 inches off the floor, where the foundation stops, it has shifted in, and it's sitting inside the wall by a good inch, if not more, the entire length of that wall. The wall's going to end up falling out on the ground, and that thing is in bad shape. And of course, because of that, I don't know if y'all, I'm sure most of you remember where the kids put the trays after they're done. That wall underneath that window and all, it's worse than this crack was in the wall over here at the community. But it's, the whole foundation has moved on. And not just that, but especially in those first three, the first three wings of that elementary. They built those in 1957, and it was about 4 years later when they built the fourth one. But those first three wings, there is one interior wall that is cracked from exterior wall to exterior wall all the way across it, where if it was not for the steel door facings in it, the wall would have fallen down already. That thing is in bad shape. And that's not to mention just the heating and cooling in the thing is when the air conditioner is running, you have to shout to be heard inside that thing.
Well, we had trouble my house going where we
It
didn't raise that window.
That's your air conditioner.
No, it's just real good.
Crank those windows out.
It's just real good. They turn the smoke coming on after lunch. Right, just for an hour. That wasn't good. You got to sit at the back of the room. I know it was at the back of the room.
Are they considering voting bond or something?
Well, the next step is to hire an architect to come down here and get us a design. And our facility committee will work with them on it. And once we see what it is, so we've kind of got some type of ballpark figure or something, then it'll go to a bond auction. But here's the thing: if the school incurs an indebtedness for new facilities like that, right now, this past year, if I understand correctly, and don't hold me to the exact figures, this is just ballpark, we sent the state about $350,000 this year. With the new valuations like they are, that we've even experienced here in the county, the increase on that thing, this coming year, there's a possibility we may be sending up to $1 million to the state, our school. And that's Robinson. But if we create an indebtedness, we build some new facilities down there, then we'll get to keep a sizable portion of that here to pay off that indebtedness. We're still gonna be sending some to the state, but we're gonna do that anyway. A big chunk of the funds that we send to the state, we can keep here to help pay for those facilities, if we created an indebtedness.
That's
to
what
do so.
you use to pay back the bond.
Yeah.
Pay the bond.
Yeah, pay the bonds off.
When you get to present that, presentation to the school board with the architect there, before y'all do that, would you have that architect look at the drawings here at the courthouse and how they felt up on this building versus the community center?
Right. I'll do that.
Because this building,
Up on Pier and Beam.
up on Pier and Beam, as odd as it sounds, has held up better
Yeah.
than that slab building over there.
Yeah. Well, and what we recommended to the school board, and they'll discuss this with the architect, is on the back side with the playground and all this back there, in front, build a single building that will house the elementary and the cafeteria with an eye towards security. With the way this thing is down here, I mean, in 1957, I'm sure that was it was a good design, maybe a good idea, it fit the time, but in today's world, anyone can walk in any classroom and no one but that teacher that's in there with those kids will even know it. Because they can walk up there and just go in. There's no central area that they have to come into to go through the administration or any kind of security. You know, and I know that sounds thing, and a lot of people think here in Aspermont, we don't have to worry about it. Folks, we do. There's a whole lot more goes on in Aspermont than most of us even know.
Become the judge, you find that out.
Yeah, the judge is. And that's what I explained with my day job over the last 2 years. I've seen the need for security in lots of places. and up there at school with our kids. And then on top of that, this is a safety issue. And I've said this for years. We are extremely fortunate that we have not got some child ran over and drop off and pick up there. Because you pull up right there on that highway, and things just crazy. And what's the strangest thing about it, the smaller kids are the ones that's out there closest to the highway. But what we recommend, build that thing, and then once it's built and ready to house students, and demolish that old elementary and cafeteria with a good parking lot with an eye of a good traffic flow in there to drop kids off in the mornings, pick kids up in the afternoons where they're not out there in that street. So that's one of the things we're looking at.
When they take out them other two fabricated buildings over, big east of the home ec cottage, did that take them out?
I don't think so, Gary. Well, they could actually move those if need be. I don't know how we would do that. Whether you open it up that way and make a straight through shop.
I just want to know what y'all.
You know, behind the auditorium, and that would be something that we'll get the architects to look at. But those buildings could be moved. But that'd make a cleaner area through there. Yes, ma'am.
On the deal Gary was talking about, when do you vote on that election?
Started, I don't know, I voted this morning as a.
Did you go to the school to vote?
Mm-hmm. But it must have just started today, because Cliff was on when it voted for me. I just happened to learn how to.
Well, it's my hope that the community will get behind the school on this project, because that's something we need badly up there. And if y'all get a moment and you get some time, just go up there and look at that old, especially the first 3 wings of that elementary and that cafeteria. You talk about some structural issues. I thought we had structural issues over here. They really got them up there. So, I just don't think there's any fix for that old building other than build a new one and tear that one down. And I'm not one of that mindset that anything old cannot be repaired. But after looking at that thing up there, I just don't think there's any repair to that. Because it's by the time you went in there and replaced the heating, the cooling, the plumbing, the wiring, everything, you still got to do it. And every classroom is chock full of electronics, just like every classroom across this country. And with the dirt and the dust that comes into those things, the way they're designed, you can't keep those things off there. I don't see how we hardly think about doing much of anything there.
Well, if that foundation has shifted that much in the cafeteria, what are the odds of how much longer it's gonna stay up?
My personal opinion is, the sooner we can get this thing done and that booger tore down and hauled off, the better off we're gonna be. I'm not kidding, you ought to go over and look at it. I know there is a ridge that wide.
They said that thing was moving every day.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Then how can they still use that building?
Well, we're kinda grandfathered in. I mean, there's no way that thing would pass compliance right now, except the fact that's all we got. And I think they're just kinda giving us an opportunity to try to remedy it. Because we had a fellow from the Texas Association of Schools, a consultant came up here and inspected all of it, the whole thing. And all the deficiencies, had it documented, had pictures and the whole thing. And then they drew up plans for what they recommended. That was a little grandiose for what I think the community needs and what our facilities committee was on board with. And so we pared that down to where it's just an elementary. And I think if we can get a new elementary up there built, and it's gonna take a community effort to get that done. But just thought that out. Anything else?
Well, that courthouse security camera stuff,
Well, he told me, that'd been 2 weeks ago that I called him, I think 2 weeks ago. And he said they get it on the list, that they are, right now, they're behind. He said it might take upwards of 90 days before they get in here and get that, all that installed. And I've already told Ricky that we're gonna have to find some of those frames with the dollars before we get this thing up here in the 40 moved. There's another little deal I want to talk to y'all about at the same time. As you know, I've been talking about, as funds are available, start doing a little bit of work on the courthouse. We've not done anything to it now in 30 years. I really would like to, out here, start in the hallway, that old paper, that stuff is cracking and peeling, it's coming up. And there's just no fixing it. But I'd like to see, and I'd like to get Teddy down here sometime, get him to look at it, get us a price to what it would take to have all of that old wallpaper pulled off of these walls, get them textured and painted. And I think we'll probably have to start out hallway first and then start working, offices a couple at a time. And probably where we'd have to start inside that is probably in the justice peace office and in the vault. Mike's office is really about the worst one of the bunch. That's where the big water was at, was down there. And he's just got sheets of that stuff just on the wall. But
What's behind that?
it's just sheetrock.
Just sheetrock?
Just sheetrock. But another thing I like to think, and this has to do some with security and some with just pure aesthetics. But out here in front, the entryway on this courthouse, it's really a really neat entry. That archway and all that stuff. But because of that old shrubs and stuff in front, you can't even see it. And all that the shrubs and that flagpole and everything is just a trash place. We have those other flagpoles sitting on each side. That's a nice setup out there. We've got the bell mounted in front of it and all that stuff. If we start on this, and I'll get a proposal presented on it, I'd like to go in there and take out that center flagpole and all those old shrubs and stuff, run cement in that thing, just make that a solid walkway there in front, where the front of this courthouse is open. And I think for security reasons, we need to do that anyway. Just from that point, but aesthetics, I think it would sure make this whole front of this thing look better. Come in here and do some things with those flower beds out there. We tried planting flowers out there this year. The little pansies don't grow. I've talked to Ricky about some ideas about what we can do, and I just like to kind of dress up and make our courthouse look a little more presentable than what we've got. But that's just something to think about on that front out there, because those little shrubs and stuff, like I say, if you walk by there and look, it's just trash all in there, you can't keep it cleaned out. We don't need that flagpole there, we've got the other two, which to me is a whole lot better setup, nicer looking setup, if we could put our flags on out there every day. And that would open up the front of this courthouse. And it's just like the little ceremony I'd like to do for the Breast Cancer Awareness Day out here. We're gonna kind of be jammed in under there, and you gotta, if that was open, it'd make a nice place to have little ceremonies like that. As it stands now, you just don't have the room. That's where we'll do it, but we don't have anybody else. But anyhow, just something to think about. Next time you walk by there, just take a look, see what I'm talking about. I'd like to get rid of all of those shrubs and move that flagpole or do something with it. We don't need it. We have the other ones. We might could donate that flagpole to somebody at a school or FSA. Their flagpole is kind of lacking down here in front of the FSA office.
Kind of leaning.
Huh?
Kind of leaning.
Kind of leaning, you know. Those things, and as we get on into this next fiscal year and all, I'd like to present the board, get a plan put together of what I'd like to see us do, and then we can make some decisions on what, if anything, we can start doing to kind of upgrade the courthouse.
What about Lottie Cook's roof, and when are they gonna?
When I called him up, he said that if they were kind of snowed, and he'd get us on the list, and he'd let me know what the schedule was, and I've not heard anything back from him. So I don't know, I'll need to call him this week, see if I can't boost him up, because, and I called him, told him, I said, you know, while you're up here, I'd like to get y'all to look at the building down here for the EDC. And I thought that would maybe get them on down here. I haven't heard anything, so I'll need to call him.
What is the wind energy, do they still have the building lease?
Yeah, they signed a 30-month lease on that. They've not done anything with it. They've not put anything in. Well, they've moved some shelving in the back, but they're gonna, with the warehouse part of it. They've not done anything about setting them off. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, there's been one man associated with that wind farm out there that moved to Aspermont. He was here about 2 weeks. Rented a trailer house down here, this was down here behind Marty's or behind the grocery store down here, from what I understand. And he wasn't here for about 2 weeks. He closed up his accounts here. And I don't know if he was broke down, I don't know. But to the best of my knowledge, that's the owner, other than leasing that office building down there, that Aspermont had seen out of the wind farm. That's not exactly the way that thing was presented to us.
Well, people expect a lot more.
Yeah.
Than what.
And
they
rightfully do it.
$10 signs, you just continue, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
There was no need for people coming over here when it's so handy, when they're working way over yonder.
Yeah, it does matter.
Yeah.
Get real.
And, I didn't expect a whole lot out of this first one. I mean, this is a pretty small deal. It's not that many people. But if it expands and comes on around like they talk, like it would, I would hopefully see a little more benefit to the community. The real benefit, I was hoping to see the community was going to be on this out here on the ridge. As we know, that thing is kind of, I don't know. But even so, they kind of made some, well, they kind of intimated that we'd see a lot more activity around Aspermont than what we've seen. And I don't know if there's any recourse that we can take on that. We'll just have to cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. And that'll come if, on any expansion project, we'll have our opportunity to address that then.
If they get to expand, they'll be back.
Oh, yeah. they'll be back. And we've learned a couple of lessons off of this one. Anybody have anything else?
Motion adjourned.
We got a motion to adjourn, do we have a second? So I second, all in favor?